It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I wanted to talk about a brand new bug that just dropped for the killer side. Not looking good for us killer mains out here. So, there's a brand new chase bug that just dropped. Believe it or not, once again, you know, our low tier killers are getting hit, they're getting nerfed, getting punched in the stomach, you know, swirly, thrown in lockers, you know. Just getting bullied as we kind of expect with our low tiers nowadays. It's pretty terrible. But yeah, low tiers have just got hit with a brand new nerf. This is a great bug that applies to all our killers actually. And it basically, you can't enter chase with survivors for whatever reason. And it can just happen whenever, wherever. It doesn't have any preconditions to activate. It just will randomly decide you can't enter chases with survivors. And simultaneously, we're not able to gain any bloodlust on any killers. So any M1 killers that you want to play are now immediately affected by this bug, which is fantastic for all of us. Isn't it just great? So M1 killers are not going to be able to gain certain hits and stuff like that. Because Bloodlust, as anybody who plays killer understands, that Bloodlust is one of the most fundamental aspects of playing the killer side. And that's obviously being... you're unable to do that. So the windows won't get blocked because you won't be in chase. Killers will not be able to gain any Bloodlust. They will not be able to get them to block the windows by them vaulting 3 times. You won't be able to have either one of those things while in chase unless you specifically have to bring a perk for it, which is a whole nother discussion. And obviously, that's just not great, right? Because now we're starting to manufacture infinites into the game, and that is not ideal. Now, I've heard different solutions. People have said run Bamboozle, run Rapid Brutality, but that really is just a band-aid fix for the bigger issues that are within the game. Now, if you still decide to play an M1 killer, even knowing this information, even knowing that you are at a massive disadvantage, I would highly recommend you run Bamboozle at bare minimum. Rapid Brutality may be a little bit hit or miss, but mainly I would highly recommend running Bamboozle. It is pretty much going to be the main way to counteract a lot of the infinites in the game that do exist without Bloodlust and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that it would help much, considering that there are still like plenty of windows that they can still use, so you might end up having to vault multiple windows, which is not ideal. But the other big thing that comes with a bug like this is that there's a lot of perks that are just simply either not going to activate or they're not going to function properly. Some of those perks include Beast of Prey, which had gotten buffed recently, which, I mean, it's not like anyone was using the perk, but still, that is on the list nonetheless. Play with your food, which is a very common perk that I know a lot of people use, and it's one of the better perks in this list. Another perk is Game Afoot. You know, it's based on the chase times of survivors, so if you chase a survivor long enough, you can swap them to become the obsession, but you can't do that if you're not going into chase. There's probably a myriad of other perks that do the same thing, that have something to do with chase time or bloodlust of some kind. Those are both, if not all, unaffected, or rather affected, I should say, and will not be able to use them as effectively, which is not great for any of us. And I have to mention that it also hits Ghostface pretty hard directly because he is an M1 killer. So Bloodlust is kind of useful in a lot of situations where you kind of need it to be able to catch up on certain tiles, certain areas. And a lot of the perks that are quite good on Ghostface are also affected by this bug directly. play with your food being one of the staples of Ghostface, I would have to say, in the game. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of the Ghostface players that, you know, play him consistently and are well known usually are using play with your food. So this is a massive nerf to Ghostface, which is not great. I mean, he already is very low tier, probably one of the bottom 3 in the entire game, and he's unfortunately affected by this bug, so that's not ideal for us. Now, what makes it worse is that this bug was present in the PTB and was unchanged on the live release. So not great for behavior, I have to say. Very bad performance. Not ideal that this was released. Like, this is a fundamental mechanical issue within the game, and I feel that that probably should have taken priority when it came down to bug fixes over everything else. However, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a game designer, so I don't know if they were able to fix it in time or they just had to push it back for another update. Obviously, we don't know that information, but I do think that maybe pushing the release back might have helped, or at least been able to do something along those lines to try to address a lot of the very massive issues that are coming within the game. And then this is also stacked on top of every bug for the other killers that exist currently. I can't begin to list every single bug for all the other killers that exist, but it is definitely on top of this chase bug, which applies to the M1s. The low tiers are getting hit pretty hard. Then you also take on the idea that you also can't play the M1s necessarily because of that problem. Then there's more bugs on other killers. So I know that there's like a lot of characters like Xeno, Knight are having issues and stuff like that. So I know that there's prominent names that probably can't even play their own favorite characters, or if they do, they have a lot of issues. And me personally, I've actually come across an audio bug within the game, and I'll probably cover that in a separate video of why I think that is the case, or maybe if it's tied to the smokes in some kind of way. And the smoke bombs in themselves I have to talk about, and that'll be its own separate video. Those will be in the same video. But mind you, all of these issues that we've had is also stacking on top of the current meta that we have, the very ridiculous instantaneous healing. After unhooks especially, survivors are able to heal under 4 seconds. So pressure is extremely hard to get, especially if you don't have mobility. So Pyramid Head or anybody else that has a hard time trying to travel across the map to be able to keep up pressure, definitely not ideal. The insane gen speed, which also could be a part of the healing buffs and the healing meta that we've sort of fallen back into. So those things are tied together. Obviously, Vigil's also in there. Vigil has also become part of the meta, which I had sort of predicted and spoken about in the past. And it's really funny to me that a very prominent creators are all of a sudden starting to put out videos about Vigil being insane, needing a change, being a little bit unhealthy of the within the game and stuff like that. Find that to be a bit insane, especially a very, you know, survivor focused creator. Don't really need to name any names, but for any of you who do know who I'm referring to, you guys know. It's pretty interesting. All of a sudden we're seeing Vigil start hitting the headlines. So because of all that, the low tiers are just going to get weaker, making players choose the high tiers instead, and it leads to even more hate for the killers like Ghoul, Blight, Nurse. And inevitably, it would lead to more nerfs, most likely for the killer as well, because we know that the power of survivor complaints definitely fuels a lot of the nerfs that we do receive, unfortunately. And overall, it's not looking too good for the killer side once again. Really is a damn shame, as I know a lot of people were looking forward to the Walking Dead chapter release. And I'm pretty sure anybody who's playing Survivor is most likely having a blast, not dealing with any issues. But this is just another drop kick to the killer mains, as we've been getting time and time and time again. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you experiencing any of these bugs? What are the bugs that you are experiencing with these different killers? Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think of the topic? What do you think of the chase bug? And that being said, appreciate you guys watching up to this point. Check out the description for ways to support the channel. And consider subscribing to watch more content like this. I will see you guys. Oh yeah, make sure you follow on Twitch to watch me play Kill Live. I'll see you guys in the next video.